What we need to do, obviously, to start things off is have a little look what we have at our disposal, and documentary-esque, and it's going to be over a couple of weeks. But just before we go, I couldn't end today without a single trade. I needed to move players quickly. Two that are sort of pending. Hopefully we get them. Is a killer pickup anyway. So, and again, a very good one for Division 1, how I would build a strategy in the MLS. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we have got something that I have never done before. We'll be taking one of my members' galleries and essentially using it as our own. What would I do if I just got given this gallery today? I think this video is going to be absolutely fantastic for those of you guys that might be new to Sorare and you want, to get sort of an insight into how I think or how I might strategize my teams going into it. This will be heavily focused on the MLS season, so if you boys are interested in MLS cards and that sort of thing, then I'm going to be breaking down sort of my thoughts and ideas on all things to do with building and strategizing around the MLS. Let's get into it. So, whose gallery are we going to be documenting then? It is going to be none other than Cody J95. Massive shout out to him, obviously a member on the channel, and he is allowing me to do this to make sort of this fresh new content for you guys. If you enjoy something like this, show me by leaving a like and maybe commenting on the video. Let me know that you enjoyed sort of things like this and you want to see more in the future. But what we need to do, obviously, to start things off is have a little look what we have at our disposal and what I guess Cody's thoughts were going into the season. So I will start this off by saying we do have £80 in the budget, and that is because I believe he sold his Messi. So I believe Cody obviously, well, he bought Messi at the start of the season thinking doesn't really need to be much strategy, just buy a couple of collections, buy Messi, captain him every week and yield lots. But obviously, for those of you guys that don't know, Messi has just been inconsistent or in and out at the start of the season. Obviously, when you guys are seeing this, it's going to be, the season's going to be a bit more underway. But as of recording this is going to be sort of like documentary-esque, and it's going to be over a couple of weeks. So pretty much I'm going to show you guys what we have at the disposal, what I'm thinking, how we're going to build on it, and that sort of stuff. So we have a 5% Charlotte collection, we have a 4% LA Galaxy, we have a 3% Montreal, a 2% Inter Miami collection, and Houston Dynamo, San Jose, and all that stuff. And then we've got a couple of other pieces in the MLS. But the reason why I wanted to show you guys all of this is because I didn't want to completely just take his gallery, sell everything, and then buy what I would buy. I do want to sort of say that I don't. I kind of wanted to play into his strategy a little bit, maybe use some of the cards that he's already picked up. Obviously, a lot of this will have to be sold to fund my strategy. That's kind of the whole point in the video. But yeah, just showing you guys what we are starting the journey off with. And obviously, next time we come back, or next time I cut in, I'm going to show you guys what we're doing, how we're developing the gallery, and what we're thinking. Right, so next on our list of things to do is work out who we want to sell. And I have actually just spent the next 20-30 minutes prioritizing who doesn't really make sense in this gallery, who to sell, things like that. For those of you guys that don't know, if you're looking to clear out your gallery and stuff like that, here's a little bit of advice for you guys. You can actually go ahead, so if you go on play and then click on my cards, you can see just at the top right of the card, it has this sort of like little list thing, I guess. You can create a new list if you like. Obviously label it sell, if you're trying to sell these pairs, and you can literally just click on whoever you fancy, or whoever you think you are going to try and sell. Pretty much, yeah, you can just do that, and you can see, if I go back here, I have actually made a little list of, and you can see, this is why I think it's valuable for you guys, is because just me going through the gallery quick, I've picked out about 52 people, which is quite a lot of players that we could potentially sell here, to obviously help us in our strategy. And you're going to see some of the names here. Now, obviously, we've got players like Jordi Alba in here, who are obviously worth a lot, and LA pieces in here. So pretty much my thought processes as I scroll through this is get rid of some of the rubbish. You can see I've started to list a lot of it already. And I think we're going to try and get out of the LA stuff, because I just think it will help us fund a better strategy, and also Yeah, Inter Miami, I'm not the biggest fan either. Obviously, they might have a good season, but I think we can fund a better strategy with the money we will get from them. So, as things stand, we're going to try and sell and trade and sort of, yeah, sell, trade, buy with all of these players you can see on screen. Yeah, to sort of build in that winning strategy for Cody. If you're watching this video now and you're thinking about signing up Sorare, do not forget to use my link in the description down below. It does really help out a small creator like myself, and if you do use that link, you will even win yourself a free limited card. Now that we have worked out all the players that we want to sell, I guess it sort of goes hand in hand with the fact that we obviously want to keep the remainder of the gallery, or at least, you know, play it into our strategy at some point. So, having a look to see what I'm thinking in terms of keeping and playing into the strategy that I might not have bought at the start of the season, but obviously this is Cody's gallery, so we're going to work with it. Charlotte collection I really don't hate, especially because he is sixth. I think it's quite a valuable gallery to have, to be fair. So we're happy to keep the Charlotte boys and play them into our strategy. Montreal is interesting. Now I'm thinking we should definitely probably sell Montreal, but maybe not right now because obviously they're going to be probably an all-time low right now. But maybe when it comes to like their first home games of the season, we can look to yeah, potentially be selling them. However, I do like the looks of Caden Clark. I do like Clark and Duke, so we might keep them two, but the rest pretty much can go. And obviously, as shown in the players that we just listed, LA Galaxy, we're going to get rid of a lot of these. The only player I like the look of is probably Paint Seal, as quite a good differential player. And yeah, Houston, I think we want to build up a bit more. San Jose, let's build them up a little bit more as well. Into Miami, we're going to use to sort of fund the rest. And then Vancouver, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do here with Vancouver. We'll probably list both of these boys as well. But pretty much, obviously, that is all we're going to have time to do today. I'm going to let sort of the account be, what's the right word? Let it sort of naturally sell off some pieces, because sometimes on Sorare, if you try to rush to sell things, you're going to pretty much be selling them for cheap. Obviously, I could just sit here now and sell everything quickly and try and bring in loads of bits. But I think, to be honest, sometimes the best thing you can do in Sorare is list things, let them, let them sort of naturally go, and just sort of let it play out. And yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let all of the things that I've just listed sort of sit on the market for a bit. We'll see what does sell, we'll see what doesn't, and we'll come back with an update for you guys. But just before we go, I couldn't end today without a single trade. So I decided to get rid of these players that absolutely have no utility in his gallery whatsoever, and they're all just worth nothing, to be honest, and they're nothing cards. And I decided to give Santonio all of these useless cards that would take probably forever to sell, and £2 for Ezekiel Ponce. Course makes so much sense for his gallery, obviously already having some of the Houston collection, and I think Ponce is a great piece, and I did want to pick him up just before this game week, just on the off chance he does score and goes up in value. So I was like, you know what, Ezekiel Ponce is going to be a good one to add to the gallery and get rid. It's just an excuse to get rid of some of the really bad cards, eh? Okay, so it's a couple of days later here on Cody's account, and yeah, just sort of logging in just to sort of update and see how much we sold. It looks like we've actually sold quite a lot of things, as you can see on screen here. Yeah, sold quite a bit. Just an update for you guys to roughly know how much we're working with here. So we did start off with obviously £80, as we said. We now have £106, and that is just from listing some of the bits that I don't really like in the gallery. Like I said, this number was on 50 odd at the start. It's now on 27, so we still do have a bit to list. So I'm going to come on here today and sort of yeah, list it and see if we can get some good money for it. And also, lucky that we did do that trade with Ponce the other day, because he did actually score a goal, which is good. I'm assuming that his price is probably around about the same, but obviously it's always good to get him in before Oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, he's still about the similar price, but it's lucky that we did get him in just before he scored, I guess. And yeah, so pretty much back on the account today, and we're gonna look to see if we can list some more of these players. Okay, so we come on and done our usual admin. We have listed the goalkeeper for LA and the defender, of course. I just want to get rid of these LA players. I know he spent a lot on these, but I just think there's better, there's better elsewhere. Obviously, he bought a bit too early in the season, so we'll take a loss on a lot of these players. But at least then, when we sell these, we're going to have a very good strategy going into it. So yeah, so that is all for today. Hopefully, we're just going to hope that a lot of these sell overnight, and when we're back tomorrow, hopefully we're going to look to start buying some players. Okay, so a lot has happened since the last clip. Obviously, you just seen me trying to sell more people and things like that. I have actually come and done some trades and bought some people, so I'm back to update you boys on what has been going on. So you can see we bought the backup goalkeeper for San Jose purely based on the fact you should always buy backups. We do already have a Daniel in the gallery, so yeah, that's just precautionary to be honest. Then this one, I needed to move players quickly, and I really wanted to get a Mudson into the gallery, so we got him for a big trade with Satonio, just to try and save some money and also get rid of some of the players that we definitely won't use in this sort of strategy. And I do really like Columbus Crew defensively. Now, I have been looking into obviously he's suspended, but I have been looking into their defence, and yeah, obviously we like a Mudson, so I picked him up. I think he obviously relatively cheap at the moment because he's suspended, and then yeah, I like obviously oh god, bad with names, Chebeco. Sorry, bad with names, but yeah, and then the goalkeeper. So with that being said, I have thrown a bid. On both of them. You can see quite expensive, but I feel like it's going to definitely solidify pretty much the Division 1 team and sort of the setup we want to go with. So these are the two that are sort of pending. Hopefully we get them. We might not, but yeah, they're sort of still in the making. And then let's see the moves we actually have successfully made then. So you can see, as I go on to here, he did have a Charlotte collection with 5%, but he had no Zaha. And I feel like Zaha is almost a must at this point, especially if you have a 5% Charlotte collection. Feels kind of ridiculous not to have him. So I spent some of the funds on Zaha, and then you can see where we did spend some of the other funds. Now, I did buy Brad Guzan. You might be thinking that's a bit weird, but I did want him to have, because he obviously has quite a lot in his gallery, and he literally only lines up 3 in-season MLS. I thought, you know what, why don't we buy 3 classic MLS goalkeepers for as cheap as possible, but they will play, obviously, hence the Guzan. I am going to try and pick up 2 more that are like just dead cheap and they just will play, because then he can list 3 classic lineups with players that pretty much he has for like maybe collection pieces or less favourable matchups and stuff. So he'll have 3 in seasons and 3 classics with all of them playing ideally. Obviously the classics will be like not prioritized at all, but I thought, you know what, it's better to get, I'd rather him pay £6 to £7 on 3 goalkeepers that will start than just have DMP keepers every week. I feel like it's worth the investment, like a tenner or so in 3 goalkeepers. So yeah, we got a Guzan. Amadson, you just saw the trade that we did for him. Zaha just made so much sense. Now, we picked up a Rodriguez. This was our first real, I guess, big purchase of the gallery. And again, makes sense because he has a San Jose collection. And Rodriguez actually did miss his last game, which makes me think his price might have gone a little bit down, which is good. And there has not really been any updates, so I guess a little bit risky. But yeah, I guess we picked him up for 20 quid. He's about £22 ish going there, I guess, in recent sales. But yeah, I think Rodriguez is a killer pickup anyway. So, and again, a very good one for Division 1 and that sort of level of play. And they're the caliber of players we want to be bringing in, guys. Because think about it, everyone's going to be competing for about 15 spots. I want everyone to be as high level as possible. Obviously, with taking precautionary purchase like the backup goalkeeper for San Jose, just in case, and then yeah. Amin Bassi, we managed to buy him now for yeah, about £5, which is decent, and again, he's got Houston players on the go, so going to be a good one. Definitely, probably not Division One level, but definitely can be in a third or potentially a second team with good matchups. Then we have the backup goalkeeper for Houston, of course. The backup goalkeeper actually did get. Oh, this goalkeeper should be in net for the rest of the season because Tarbell, which this is the unfortunate one. We picked up a Tarbell, and literally the day after we picked him up, he got announced as ACL, probably going to be out for the season. So an L purchase for Tarbell, but to be honest, we got the backup at the same time, and that's why we do it. And last but not least, we have a very important piece in Christian Espinoza, who was about, again, £18 or so, which looks to be actually quite a good deal that we got for him. And yeah, just another vital part of the gallery. Again, spending quite big on this one, but these are the players, Zaha, Rodriguez, Espinoza, I expect to be in and out of the Division 1 team. You need to be sort of having that high caliber of player. So where we're at then is we currently have, I'll show you guys what I've plugged in so far. So I guess we'll ignore this one because we're still in the making. But as things stand, we've sort of got a setup like this. Now, ignore the fact that, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, I've just put the players in just so I can visualize it a bit better. But these are all players that I think are very capable to a winning strategy. Now, this third team, probably not so much, to be honest, but I've kind of just threw them in because maybe these can be more to do with like the classic team. I think Escobar definitely has a place in the strategy. Obviously Houston keeper as well, but Ream Westwood's not too bad either, to be fair. But yeah, I just sort of was throwing people about, seeing what works. Obviously, a Munson will have to fit into this strategy somewhere as well for sure. I do sort of have, which I haven't really spoke about yet. But I do have on my phone here, if I could get it up for you guys. I do have sort of like a little notes pad. You can't really see it, but I pretty much had a notepad of like every player's prices and stuff like that, and the players that I want and how much on average they go for. And every single day I was sort of adding, rough price ranges, and I think you guys should do this as well, especially if you want to pick one of these players up, just track them for a couple of days, and then when they seem like they're a bit lower than usual, that's when you want to buy them ideally. So that was sort of my strategy in buying some of these, and pretty much my thought process now is obviously we have to wait and see what happens with these two auctions. So if we do win these two auctions, I've pretty much purchased everybody that I wanted to purchase in terms of like main in-season strategies, because we've got, so the idea of the concept was backbone in San Jose, so like have a really good set San Jose stack, a really good Houston stack, and then also Charlotte to sort of back it up, and then on top of that we are going to have, obviously, the Columbus Crew as another very capable option, and then of course whichever team out of them four has a very bad matchup will just fall into the classic category for the, so I guess, for the up and coming game week. Then we have Guzan for like another throwaway, and then I want to get another classic goalkeeper to sort of set three classics. So what we've got to do is we've got to wait, because at the moment we have £1 in the bank. We've spent everything really. So what we've got to do is wait for them two auctions. Hopefully we win them both. And in terms of selling, we sort of just need the last two pieces to go, which is, where are they? So Jordi Alba, and sort of Emiro and Marco Reus. I guess it's just a couple of pieces, and these will like sort of smooth off the rough edges. So at the minute we're like pretty much there in terms of like viable strategy set for the season. We just need to sort of smooth off the edges. So we're gonna try and look to sell these boys, and pretty much, yeah, just round off the gallery, and yeah, hopefully we can get these sales in. I have also listed a Suarez. I believe it's not actually showing on here. Oh, spelling his name wrong. Suarez. Sorry about that. Oh wait, I spelled his name wrong. It's because the filter was there. Sorry about Oh my god, I spelled it wrong again. Jesus. There we go. We'll get there. Like seventh time lucky. We have actually listed as Suarez, but I took him off the list by accident. And yeah, obviously, again, this will massively help towards just rounding off the strategy. So pretty much, if all of this, or as and when I guess all of this sells, we should have, give or take, um, about 60, 70, 80 sort of quid to play with. And of course, we still do have the money in the bids. So pretty much that is my thought process. Get these two in, however much it might cost. It might cost a little bit more than this, but we are trying to get them cheap. And then pretty much, yeah, round things off with the boys that we have left to sell. And then I'm going to come back to you boys with hopefully pretty much, I guess, a rounded off, a well-rounded off strategy that I can explain to all you boys my thought process into all of it. I will say as well, we do actually have 2,000 XP reserve, so I was going to throw that into the video because, again, XP is a strategy within itself, as to, like, what to do with it and things like that. And I think for Cody, it makes sense for it to be a piece that probably won't leave the gallery for a while, or pieces that won't leave the gallery, and I feel like these pieces that will be competing in Division 1 for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it on one on Espinoza, definitely, one probably on Rodriguez, and again, I need to do that because of they have cool off, so it's important to get them two on now. And I would say probably Arango as well, to be honest. Why not? We'll go with him. And I think the Houston pieces are okay to leave for now. Bruno Wilson, we can throw. Yeah, so pretty much I think I'm going to just go for the San Jose boys. We could do Escobar. Obviously, it's a special card, so I don't think Escobar will be leaving the gallery anytime soon. It's a very nice card, of course. And then we have, well, yeah, can't level up the goalkeeper there. I don't know why. I think it must be a cool off or something. Um, but yes, I think we could do Zaha. Zaha definitely makes a lot of sense as well. And the rest of the XP we're actually going to keep because I'm going to use the pretty much the players we just leveled up there. I probably will level up again or as many as I can in the following day. But yeah, so that is pretty much where I'm going to leave you boys off for this part of the video. Hopefully when we're back, we've sold all of the things we need to sell and we can really sort of, like I said, round off the edges in our strategy. Our channel has finally become a partner with YouTube, and that means that you boys can become a member on the channel. How you would do that is by clicking the join button down below, and you can see all the exclusive perks to becoming a member on this channel. Not only that, but you would be massively helping and supporting a small creator in myself, making more videos like this one for you guys to enjoy. So I would really appreciate if you did join our membership down below. Thank you. Let's get on with the video. Wow, so it has been a very busy couple of days on the account, and as you guys saw sort of in the previous recording, we picked up Zaha, Amundsen, and we were bidding on a few players. We picked up Da Costa as well, Daniel, obviously the classic goalkeepers that we did discuss, and yeah, we picked up a couple more players. You can see this sort of row of players here. Now I will say, pretty much we were recording this when the double up sort of thing is happening. So purchasing these two SJ players were pretty much just so we could very like capitalize on the half craft stuff. So these two, not really so much for strategy, however they do help with collection bonus in some important San Jose stuff that we did pick up earlier in the video, as you guys have seen. We did get rewarded with a couple of cards, so obviously we've naturally just tried to sell them on and include them in some of the swaps and the buys that we have done here. So with that being said, we did actually pick up a Chepeco on bid for about £22, which is I'd say pretty good, to be honest. And alongside that, they were running the double up promo, and we got 40 essence with this Chepeco, which of course we crafted, and we did actually craft a very nice card, a Jan Mateus, and we used him to swap in a Christian Roldan. Now, I know this deal isn't exactly, this deal's probably not optimal, but to be honest, I saw it as a good opportunity just to be like, look, we got this card, let's just get him for a card that actually, because obviously Jan Mateus definitely doesn't fit an MLS strategy, so we just thought, screw it, let's go for the man, let's go for, get him as cheap as we can. But yeah, so we paid about £6 and obviously a reward for him, which is alright, he's about £15, so yeah. Then we got Pasalic. I am aware that this card, obviously, he's a good differential piece to have in a gallery. I don't know why his card's doing that, but anyway, yeah, he's obviously started off very well in the MLS. However, I am aware that we will have to pick up an MLS card at some point in the season, but I think hopefully his price of his MLS card will come down to about £10 ish. Pretty much, if we buy the MLS version when we have to at £10, it was worth it to buy him now at £11, if that makes sense, because his MLS is just so expensive. And then yeah, we managed to do a trade with another, actually I guess a good friend of the channel, Diogo, for a Patrick and £33, which I think is pretty fair. He's about 30 to 35 quid. As you can see, but yeah, so we managed to get a decent little swap in there with a good friend of the channel, which is nice. We can help out, you know, everyone helping everyone out, so that's always good. And that pretty much means our strategy is more or less complete. You know, it definitely does need well, always in Sorare, as you boys know, strategies are forever sort of continuing. We could be on this journey forever, but I've got it now to a very clean point, a very smooth, you know, I guess rounded off strategy here, and the you know the bits that are left to do, which are very easy and definitely can change based on his opinion and things, is yeah, pretty much I'm going to leave it down to him to decide, because obviously ultimately this is his gallery. But you can see we still have 6 pieces to sell, including Jordi Alba, Emiro, and Suarez. Now I'm not saying that he has to sell these cards. In fact, I'm actually going to cancel the listing on all 3 of them. And I'm going to say to him, these are probably who I would look to potentially sell. And I'm going to leave it to him though, he can definitely use all of them cards. And in terms of like picking players up, I would suggest to him looking at, so obviously here we can see in the favourites that I did pick up Roldan and Pasalic, and that's because pretty much I was going to leave it as just these 5 players to look at potentially buying, but then I realised midfielder is definitely lacking, so the 2 midfielders had to come in. So now I've left him with an option. He can pretty much keep the 3 players that I just showed you on the screen here, or he could look to potentially just sell one of them and fund these 3, because obviously Lozano's a good one right now because he's injured. And he's going to be great when he's back. Roldan, I just think, is doing well, and Hollingshed are good for the price. And obviously these prices are buy now, so they're a bit high, but Hollingshed you could probably pick up for about a fiver. Roldan cheaper as well, and same with Lozano. But yeah, generally speaking, I think these 3 players are definitely interesting to look into, especially for differential pieces and things like that. So, with that being said, I do want to sort of take you guys through the lineup building process for this team, I guess, or this strategy, this game week. Now, I will preface or start this off by saying, not only do a lot of these players actually have quite bad matchups this week, but some of them aren't playing, like Inter Miami and stuff. So take it with a pinch of salt, as it does. You know, you guys will experience this as well when you play Sorare. It's like you could build the best strategy in the world, but some game weeks just don't click. So we're just gonna, but we're gonna be real. We're not gonna pretend like, oh, you know, this is the best strategy every single game week. We're just gonna be, blunt, real, raw, whatever you want to call it, and just do this game week coming up with you guys now. And yeah, so Kalina obviously fantastic pick for this weekend, as is Malanda, and they fly into Division 1, no questions asked, really. And then midfielder, this is why I had to pick up a midfielder, especially for this weekend, is because without Pasalic and Roldan, we had Westwood, who's not too bad, and Espinoza, who just has a terrible fixture, and Bassi, who also has a terrible fixture. So this strategy allows me to actually pick from 5 very good midfielders, and of course he has Bryce Duke as well, which is a decent, and Caden Clark, which are decent pickups, and David DaCosta. So midfield is definitely way more stacked now, which is fantastic. So with that being said, I think we're going to go with Pasalic here, but I do think Roldan is definitely at least second team worthy. Now our attacker is definitely going to be Zaha as well, no questions asked there. And then we can round the squad off. Actually, I'm going to round the squad off with the Columbus Crewman, as the goalkeeper unfortunately is not playing this game week, but I just think this makes the most sense. Now this is an absolute banging lineup for Division 1. I'm sure you guys would definitely agree. The only thing is I can't tell who to give the armband to. Chebeco is obviously Chebeco and Zaha. It's between. I'm probably going to go with Tribeco because I think he's most 100 capable, but they're both fantastic to be honest. So yeah, brilliant. That's them two plugged in for the weekend. Now we've got a Division 2 team, so obviously a little bit less, of the caliber. Now here would be nice to go Patrick, but he has international duty, so that's just part and parcel. That is part of the life of Sorare. We have our obviously, so pretty much we only have Houston or Daniel to pick from here. I am going to go with. Let's have a quick look on Predictifier. Actually, is a little bit of a flip of a coin because we have San Jose against a very good, 16% percentage. It's not insane. And Houston 22, so slight edge to Houston, so we'll give it to Houston based on the numbers, but that one's quite, up in the air. Escobar, I guess, goes well with the goalkeeper there, so that's fine. Then in the midfield option, we could definitely Roldan definitely works, but he's playing against our defense, so we won't go with that. I think we'll go with Espinoza. I think that's probably the best one there, and probably a Rango. And then we round the squad off with. So it's kind of hard to leave out Roldan. I'm tempted to go with Roldan and the SJ boys because then we have Roldan as a differential. I don't hate that. The only problem is we have with SJ is the defender situation because Rodriguez. So we probably don't take the risk this weekend and probably go with Bruno Wilson there, and we can captain probably Roldan just to make sure we don't get relegated. But yeah, Espinoza would be a decent captain on his day, but yeah, not the best matchups, but that's part and parcel of Sorare, as you boys know. And then plugging in for the third in-season team, then we can definitely go with the boys we just had in the second one, so Escobar and Jimmy. And then we could go Bassi here, but we're probably going to go Westwood because the fixture is very nice. And then attackers again, little bit short on attackers this week, and that is due to that is pretty much due to Suarez not playing, and also international break, and on top of that, the like I said, the room in the strategy to potentially pick up Lozano and pieces like that will definitely strengthen the forward position. So forward and defenders not so much to be fair, but definitely forwards is something that we will look into developing in the strategy for Cody, and then probably makes sense to put in maybe Andrew if we do have one in the gallery. I believe he does have him, yeah. So let's go with Andrew, try to get some of the Charlotte boys involved. Let's go with Westwood as the captain as well. He's on set pieces, so potentially could get decisive there. And then pretty much, so for this strategy, how I've worked out is these classic teams are literally just going to be almost like a pray to get anything, not expecting much kind of vibe. So these will pretty much just be like the throwaways, the what's left of the gallery type of vibe. So with that being said, probably just throw in I'd say throw in slightly more risky picks like Burn, players that potentially are like second pieces in. So like for example here, Bronico has a great fixture, but we're not sure if he's going to start. But in an instance like this, it's worth to sort of risk players like that. We know Da Costa's going to play, so he's definitely a good one to go in there. Vargas 70%, it's alright. 60% in that man. Pellegrino, I'm pretty sure Pellegrino is going to play. Yeah, 70% as well. So probably lean in to go with Vargas here. And then we can round it off with a, let's have a quick look to see who have we got left? Who are we missing? So Amundsen is suspended this game week again. Some we can definitely use in the future. Shevchenko's going to come back from injury again. Some we can use in the future. Ream is international. Pansel again, future, very good one. Rodriguez, we're not too sure on the situation there. Amin Bassi's definitely going to play, so we can throw him in there. Lovely, and we'll probably give the armband to the Charlotte winger and pray that he does something in the game. Now, unfortunately, this game week we do only have one more goalkeeper because, again, Schulte would usually be another goalkeeper choice here, but obviously he's not playing this game week, which is a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, so the last defender we can really choose from here would be Rodriguez, who is 60% on to play, so who knows with that one. Then we could have the two Montreal boys, the two midfielders, Bryce Duke and Caden Clark. We can just double check where they're at with their sides. So Caden Clark 75 and so is Bryce Duke. So we can definitely put Caden Clark in. We'll hold off on Duke for a second. Pellegrino 70 as we know. Fabian should be playing. Oh, he's not actually on to play. Owosu is pretty nailed though. So I'm not a massive fan of Owosu. 60% in the Charlotte man. I think I honestly might even prefer. I'm gonna go with Pellegrino to be honest. I just because I'm not a massive fan of Owosu, but who knows? He probably does well this weekend. Saying that. So yeah, probably give the armband to Caden Clark. Yeah, let's do that. And then I guess the final team, obviously, you know, Schulte is not going to play as we know, but I'll just put it in because this is what we'll do most game weeks. Because we do have the goalkeepers to be able to do that. Same with the defenders. Again, and Mudson being out, Shevchenko international duty. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of unluckiness, I guess, for a lot of people being out. But yeah, you can sort of round out the squad as I guess with Owosu and then yeah, whoever I guess is most likely to play here, which is probably going to be Mr. Giorno, who was 60% for Charlotte, and we can give him the armband as well, and the off chance he might get a game. So yeah, there you go. So that is pretty much me nuking someone's gallery and starting off afresh. Of course, you have to take into account that so it's international break, so slim pickings. Fixtures aren't insane, but yeah, pretty much I think this is a very solid and hopefully returning sort of strategy for Cody. Like I said to him, and I'll message this over to him shortly. But pretty much going forward now, your next steps are to sort of identify areas that might be weak. So potentially forwards is one that I'm thinking here, and potentially looking to sell. So obviously we do have Suarez to come into the mix, and we have the thing is, if you got Lozano as well, you'd have two really good forwards. Pansel and Lozano coming back from injury, and then obviously you have yeah, so pretty much just unlucky with the forward situation, but for this game week. But going forward, we could definitely look to sell two defenders here. I think these two are pretty much, in my opinion, he definitely should sell, but we'll see what he wants to do with them. And then yeah, look to buy pretty much these two. So obviously, Roldan and Hollingcheck can take their place in the two defender slot, and then we can buy Lozano and a couple of other pieces to strengthen, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to do going forward with the gallery. But I've shown you boys all of the work that has gone into such a, well, how I would build a strategy in the MLS. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So there you have it then, boys. There is me taking one of my members' galleries pretty much from whatever he gave me, then I guess working in some of my strategy into what he already had, and then developing a real, I guess, strategy and ideology of like what he wants going into every single game week. You know, having this very strong core like backbone with the defense, the goalkeeper, and then adding in them little, you know, pieces of magic, pieces of sparks to get them high scoring players in there. And yeah, I guess this is a completely different thing. I've not done anything like this on the channel before, but I'm just hoping and praying that one of you boys might pick up something from this, maybe a little bit of advice, or you know, maybe it just unlocks a new avenue for you guys in Sorare. Obviously, the whole point of this video was pretty much to target maybe new people that don't really know maybe what strategy to go for in Sorare, or what's best to do. So hopefully you boys picked up a couple of pointers. Of course, you can let me know in the comments down below if you like this idea, if you want to see more, that sort of stuff. Obviously, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy that. You know, that's the main thing that shows me that people enjoyed the video. And of course, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace.